recording?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, that was a great intro. Yeah, we're going in raw. All right, anyway, hello and welcome back to our podcast, Lovely, Independent, and Unstable, starring your two independent bitches. I am Lacey.
I'm Julie.
What's poppin'? Today, we are going to be discussing a lot of different things. We thought it'd be fun. We had our intro podcast, obviously, that kind of explains a little bit of what we plan on doing.
Yep.
But we thought it'd be really fun to kind of go into detail about some stuff that has happened in our life. Because like we've discussed, we have been friends a very long time. And with that comes a lot
of memories.
A lot of memories.
A lot of embarrassing things.
A lot of things that we might have suppressed.
Yeah, we're probably gonna honestly bring a lot of shit up this go around. I don't know if I'm ready for it.
The good thing is we don't have a lot of bad stuff to bring up. It's just...
No, it's just like a lot of like super embarrassing, uncomfortable 16-year-old things.
Yeah. Yeah, because I mean, we were friends during one of the most awkward parts of both of our lives.
Honestly, we're still in the most awkward part of our life.
You're right.
I'm convinced it's never going to end. We're going to be 45 and be like...
We sat there and I was like, all right, like, it'd be kind of fun if we did like embarrassing stories. And then we just both sat there with crickets going because I'm like, we're embarrassing people.
Our whole lives are embarrassing.
Like, I do embarrassing shit on the daily. So I was like, what stands out? And we're both just like, well, we'll just tell stories. And most people might think they're embarrassing, but it's just us on a typical Wednesday.
So welcome to Story Time with Julie and Lacey.
Grab a snack, maybe grab a beveragino, and
grab
maybe
your
chill.
Pussies, ladies.
It's gonna get weird.
Very.
Do you want to start it off or do you want me to?
Where do you want to start?
I don't know. I don't think we're going to be able to go in chronological order because I feel like more stories are going to pop up.
Right.
I think the best way to start is just with one of the most just photographic memories I have, which is the night that you and I both got shizzle-faced.
Yeah.
Listen, me and Julie drink, okay? But, like, especially not now, because I think we both got into a very, like, casual drinking, and the fact that you have a baby.
I also have a baby,
yeah.
So I gotta be sober by, like, 8:30.
Yeah, so, like, we just don't drink as much, but this one night, we went cray-cray, okay? I'm talking...
It was Halloween.
It was a Halloween
party,
yeah. It was a November 3rd party.
It was a November 3rd party.
And we were ceiling fans.
Yes.
And we got wasted. Like, I'm talking, when we would go to the bathroom together, she was peeing. I Snapchatted you while you were peeing.
Yes.
No shit's given. Because I was in the mirror like, stay in school, kids. Don't drink like that. Like, it was bad. Like, we were sloshed.
I don't remember a whole lot from that night. I do remember that was when it was cool to only drink sugary drinks. Oh. So not only did you get drunk faster, you also got dehydrated a lot faster. And then when you woke up in the morning, guess what? You felt like you've been hit by a train.
Yeah. So her husband was our DD. He did not drink.
No.
And so he got us back to her house. And I have very, like, it's gotten better. I don't know if it's because I'm medicated, because I'm older, whatever. But I don't like sleeping other places. I get really bad sleep anxiety. So I got
Mind you, Lacey and I have been friends for a long time.
Yeah. It's not just, like, it's not anybody, it's no hate to anybody. It's just the way I am.
It's just how she's built.
I'm built different.
She got programmed that way.
And so... we get back to her house, it's like 3 a.m. and I immediately am like drunk as hell, but I'm like, I want to go home, I don't want to sleep here. So I call my brother because I'm like, he'll come get me. No, bitch. Okay, he's like, I'm in Cincinnati, you can just sleep there, like you're safe, blah, blah, blah. So you know what I do? I call my mother. That's right, I call my flippin' mom. And I have picked my mom drunk. Like, I've picked her up drunk numerous times, so like she owed me one anyway. And at this point, could not recite Julie's, address to save my life, and couldn't get it from Julie because she was in her room butt-ass naked.
The last thing I remember of that night was we got home, and for those who don't know, I do enjoy sleeping naked. Don't do it as much now, but I do enjoy a nice naked slut, okay? And the last thing I remember was I took my costume off. I think I took my makeup off, or at least made an attempt. I know I at least got my contacts out.
Yeah.
Because I would never sleep in my contacts.
No.
Drunk or not. And I remember I sprawled out on the bed on top of the covers.
Starfish.
Butt-ass naked. I mean, boobs and bush just full out, okay? And Lacey is standing in my doorway having the drunken conversation of her life. And all I remember is like... I just want to go to sleep. And then the next thing I know, I wake up and it was morning.
But yeah, because I just was super anxious. So literally to get my mom to where I was like, do you remember where I used to do gymnastics? And she's like, yeah, when you were 9. I'm like, go there. And she's like, what? I said, it's like a 3-minute walk from Julie's house. I'll walk there. So my drunk
at 3 o'clock in the morning. By the time she gets picked up, it was probably closer to like 3:30, 4 o'clock.
Yeah. So my mom is just parked at this church that I used to do gymnastics at, and I'm just walking hunky-dory style. Confidently to my mom's Yukon, and then she takes me home. So the next day, I need to go get my vehicle from Julie's house. So I am one of those really annoying people that like wakes up just energized, ready to go, even if I just had a very drunken night of drinking.
I am not
so
one of those people.
I get to Julie's house probably like 11, and I get there and I just let myself in because we're at that point. I know her garage code and where the key is. And so I go in there and I'm just sitting there. There's someone passed out inside the couch cushions. Somebody else is in one of the spare rooms.
This is when we had a roommate. This was not long after my husband and I bought our house. We have a 3-bedroom house. And when you're 20 years old buying a house, the thought of a mortgage makes you want to poop your pants. So you move people in, okay? You move people in and you think them that paying this amount of money, which ends up being half your mortgage, is a good deal.
Yeah.
So one of my husband's friends was living with us.
Another
renting a room.
Yeah. Another one was on the couch.
Another one was on the couch, passed out inside the couch. And I had a huge sectional at that point that had like 4x6 cushions on it.
Yeah, it was large.
And he had wedged himself
into the couch.
He was
very
comfy.
Couch. Yeah. And so I'm just sitting there, annoyingly energized, ready, like waiting for people to wake up. And Julie comes out looking like one of the lizards from Holes with her hair. And she just looks like death is upon her. And she's like, I'm never drinking again.
So Lacey got picked up. Lacey went home. Lacey slept in her bed, woke up energized, got dropped off the next morning. Was waiting for everyone in the house to wake up because, mind you, it was probably, what, 9 o'clock?
No, I got there at like 11.
11? I thought it was
And I thought we were going to get breakfast. I was ready.
Well, we did, but that's...
we got to get to that.
So, I had woken up. I do this really annoying thing where my body wakes me up at like 7 o'clock every morning, no matter what, whether I want to sleep in or not, whether I've been out the night before, whether I'm sick, doesn't matter. I'm up at 7. So, I woke up at 7 o'clock. And I felt pretty confident about my sobriety at that point. So I got up, I put my feet on the floor, and I was like, I'm in a different dimension. My body is in one place, but my mind is in a completely different. So I walked to the door across my bedroom, and then I remember I don't have my glasses. And I'm blind. Like, big blind. So I stumble back across the bedroom. My husband's trying to sleep because he has to go to work in the morning. I get my glasses. I stumble back over. Okay, I go out to the kitchen. I'm like, you know what I want? I want a body armor.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but lots of electrolytes. Okay, and I'm thinking, okay, I need electrolytes. This was before when Julie would go out. Like, now when I go out and I drink, like we went out for my birthday not that long ago, and I got home. Mind you, I did not drink near the amount of alcohol that I did.
You had like 3
night.
drinks.
But I went home and I popped a couple Advil and chugged a bottle of water and went to bed so that I would wake up feeling pristine.
Yeah. Because you have a child.
I didn't do that in my early 20s. Okay, when I was, I got sloshed and went to bed and that was it.
Yeah.
So
woke up with the repercussions.
Right, and the repercussion of this morning was the fact that I was so dehydrated because Lacey and I bought like a 36 count pack. It was like the Mike's Hard,
like all the different
mixed
and then
drinks.
We were doing flip cup with whatever was in the cups.
Right, we had drank.
Someone handed us Bacardi.
Right,
we took it.
All 36 of the Mike's Hards.
Yeah, we did.
Which is a lot of sugar to consume.
Yeah,
it's really not a lot of alcohol. It's
not
just
even
a lot of sugar.
Yeah, it's not even a flex of like we finished a 36 rack. I just want you to understand the heartburn.
Yeah. And then they were like, you want to play flip cup? Lacey and I don't normally play flip cup.
No.
We play beer pong and that's it.
We're beer pong bitches.
But we were playing flip cup and I think I remember being pretty good that night. Maybe not, but
probably not.
People were just pouring stuff into cups and we were just drinking it because we didn't have anything to drink. And
yeah,
we weren't drinking beer at that point. I don't drink beer at all. But
and then someone had a bottle of Bacardi.
There was a bottle of Bacardi, like a big bottle of Bacardi sitting on the table. And I was like, well, I don't have anything to drink with. And one of my husband's friends goes, here you go. And I was like, okay.
He just hands us a whole handle of
Bacardi. And then we finished a handle of Bacardi.
It was bad.
Anyway, so I wake up the next morning and I'm severely dehydrated. I'm severely hungover and I'm like,
I'm going to die.
I feel like I'm going to die. So I bend over The only prep work I had done for the next morning was buying the body armor and putting it in my refrigerator. I bend over to get the body armor out of the refrigerator, and as I'm bending over, I'm like, something's gonna come out of me.
I don't know which
I don't know what end it's coming out of because I also have IBS.
So she'd be rude.
I stand back up calmly, and I walk over to my kitchen sink, and I proceed to puke my guts out. Okay, I puked so much. And then, okay, I get my body armor, take me a little sippy sip, and I'm like, I gotta pee. So I go to the bathroom. I pass out for like 20 minutes on the toilet. Like, I'm talking
body armor in hand.
On the toilet, okay? And so I finally come to consciousness, and I go in the bedroom, and by this time my husband's like, hey, are you okay? Because like this whole time he's just not been concerned because he's been sleeping. He goes, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, passed out in the bathroom for like 20 minutes. And he's like, okay. So he gets up because he's thinking that when I say I passed out for 20 minutes, I threw up and like, because I told him, I was like, I threw up and then I passed out for like 20 minutes. So he's thinking I threw up in the bathroom, the logical place to throw up, in the toilet. No. So he goes in there and he comes back in the bedroom. He's like, well, whatever you did, you cleaned it all up. So it was good. And I was like, I puked in the kitchen. And he was like, you puked in the kitchen? And I was like, I puked in the kitchen. I was like, don't worry though, I puked in the sink and I think I got it cleaned up. No. I didn't even get close to my sink. I puked all over my counter.
She sprayed the back sink.
I puked all over my counter, and I thought I had puked in the sink, and I cleaned it up. No, I puked on the counter, and my poor husband had to clean it up. And he comes back in, and I'm sitting there like, if I lay down, I'm going to throw up. So I'm just sitting there like, rocking back and forth, like praying to God, just like, take me now. I want to go home, Jesus. I want to go home. And he comes in and he's like, you need to eat like some crackers. And I'm like, we don't have any crackers. And so then he comes back with a loaf of bread. And I'm like, this is some big fucking crackers. So I'm just eating bread by the handful, like trying to soothe my stomach. And he's like convincing me, like, just lay down. Like, you need to just lay down and sleep it off. And I'm like, I cannot lay down. And so he's like, just do it, you got it. And I'm sitting there and I'm crying at this point, okay? Not that I have any hydration in my body to like exude, but I'm crying at this point. Crying, I got my puke bucket and my bread in my hand. And I lay down and I just looked at my husband because it was a Sunday morning. I was like, I should have just gone to church like a nice girl. So when Lacey says I wake up and I look like the thing off of Holes, the lizards with my hair, it's because I did. Because I had a rough fucking morning, okay?
Yeah. So then she comes to, and I'm like, let's go get breakfast. And she's like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. So we hop in her Buick Century at the time because Julie drove it.
I called her Mrs. Puff because she was the boat.
And so we drive about 20 minutes to a Bob Evans off the gate, right out of the jump, okay?
We went to Bob Evans, okay?
Yeah, and let's just think about the night she just had, the morning she just had. This bitch confidently orders a tall glass of fucking milk.
Chocolate milk.
To wash it all down.
When I go to Bob Evans, I get the same thing every time. Okay, I get chocolate milk, sausage, gravy, and biscuits, side of extra crispy bacon. That morning was no different. So I get my chocolate milk and my breakfast. I don't really think sausage, gravy, and biscuits was probably the best idea either. Probably should have gone with like a dry pancake to like sop it all up.
Yeah,
but I did eat majority of a loaf of bread earlier in the morning. But anyway, the chocolate milk comes and I look down at the chocolate milk and I look up at Lacey and she's like, yeah,
that was a dumb decision.
Yeah, that was a good idea, sister.
Because I literally ordered an ice water and then like my eyes popped out of my head when I heard chocolate milk come out of her mouth.
Man,
I literally was like,
chalky milk.
I was like, are you kidding?
I want to pop a chalky milk and make all my pain go away.
I was like, are you shitting my dick right now, bitch? Like, chocolate milk?
Are you crapping my tallywhacker?
Speaking of tallywhacker, nice little segue into probably the biggest foundation, like the biggest building block of our friendship was FFA. If you do not know, FFA is a school little
It's an agricultural organization for teenagers. To get involved in the ag community as far as like, you know, there's traditional, like we were very traditional ag kids. We were raised on farms. We had farm projects. We did fair things. And then there's other stuff like you know
You could do public speaking,
Parley Pro contests, like judging contests. Like it's a place for a lot of people.
It really is, because like I do tell people a lot, I interview very well, and I think the biggest reason for that is FFA, because there are a lot of opportunities for you to public speak, and it gives you a really good like basis of how to talk to people and how to communicate. Right. So that is where
we're trained robots as far as speaking goes, which is what makes this kind of difficult.
Yeah, it's hard because like we're so used to talking to people, but it's very strange
it's
to
formatted.
Like, it's a very different format for us. Like, you know, it's not as typical, but I'm sure we'll get the hang of it and it'll get way more, you know, flow. But
anyway, Lacey and I were both very involved, and that's how we can only assume our friendship flourished.
But it's definitely where because that's why we don't know where we're friends, because we know there's several trips involved with FFA, one of them being National Convention, and that was the first, like, a lot of our first memories are from Julie's freshman year FFA convention, because she was one of the few freshmen and I was a sophomore.
I was one of the cool freshmen who hung out with the upperclassmen, which was cool until I was a junior in high school, and then all of my friends graduated, and then I was like, who are these people?
Yeah. And so I just remember on the bus, as you can tell on the visual and any video, there's a size difference between me and Julie, because she is almost 6 foot tall, and in high school I was even shorter. As a sophomore I was like 5'2", but Julie has been 6 foot since like the 6th grade.
I'm a solid tree.
Her whole life.
Tree height.
And so for some reason in high school Julie was a cuddle bug with me, and I would avidly just sit in her lap.
It's because I needed friends.
Yeah.
So I just let them do whatever they wanted to.
And I don't know why, but like immediately that was our thing, is like I would just sit in Julie's lap on the bus, and I called her my pimp pillow, and I was her hoe blanket.
Yep.
Don't ask us. We were weird.
That, I know exactly where that started, and it was because the hotel we stayed in for my freshman National Convention trip had its own movie theater.
That's right.
And I sat down, and there was no other seats, so the only logical thing for Lacey to do, because we'd been friends for a whole 2 weeks at this point, was to lay on top of me.
Yeah.
And that's where the pimp pillow and hoe blanket came from.
Yeah, we have a picture from that. I think I posted on my Instagram not too long ago, but
I'll post it on the
Instagram, so
podcast Instagram.
But the one thing I remember from National Convention is we took a regular school bus up there, and there was this guy who was in my grade, and we'll have another story on this gentleman here later.
We'll segue into that.
Yeah. But we were like just figuring out ways to pass the time on the bus, and he threw in the very typical truth or dare. And so like me and Julie are like super wholesome. We're like, we dare you to eat earwax, you know?
We're like, I know we talked about this last time. We're awkward now, but 16-year-old Julie and Lacey was absolutely painful. Yeah. Like, painful.
So like we're like, yeah, we dare you to eat an earwax, and then he's like, haha, truth or dare. And we're like, dare, and he's like, you guys should make out.
I dare you guys to make out.
We're like, whoa, bro, we went 0 to 100.
No, I'm not doing that.
I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. The same time we were there, you get assigned rooms, and it was 4 people to a room with double beds, you know, and I remember I was roomed with 2 juniors because I was friends with upperclassmen, and then I was roomed with it was me, a sophomore, and then a freshman. But that freshman was on the soccer team, and our soccer team went to like state or something, so she had to leave early. So the last night we were trying to get Julie to be able to stay in our room and not the room she was assigned, and this wasn't allowed, but we were, especially you, because Julie was a teacher's kid.
Yeah, I was a teacher's kid, so I was tight with all the teachers, whether they want to admit it or not. Yes, she favored me.
Yeah, and she also, Julie's mom was really good friends with the ag teacher, because Julie's mom basically did a lot of the ag job.
My mom used to be an ag teacher, so she helped out a lot.
Yeah, so we used that a lot, so we were like, come on, please, and she's like, okay, but like, don't tell other people, don't, you know, because I don't want people trying to switch up rooms. So immediately,
in turn, we call it Fight Club.
Yeah, because you're not allowed to
talk about Fight Club.
So literally, the whole day, we were like, yeah, Fight Club, and people were like, what? We're like, we can't talk about Fight Club.
And I'm like, you don't need to know. If you knew what Fight Club was, we wouldn't be having this conversation.
Do you not know rule number 1 of Fight Club?
Yeah, it's don't talk about Fight Club.
Get shit on.
Pitt explained it very clearly.
In a very weird
don't talk about Fight Club.
So that night we get in there, and me and Julie are on the pull-out couch bed, and then the 2 juniors are in the bed. And I have been a grandma since I came out the womb. So, like, even though it's last night, I'm like, all right, 9:30, let's go to bed. And they're like, let's pull an all-nighter.
Because we were teenagers.
I know.
And mind you, the thing that we were getting up to do the next morning is hands down one of the most boring things you'll ever have to sit through in your life. They literally take 150 kids from each state, put them on a list, and then run them all off. And you have to sit there through it all. Because Ohio is conveniently in the middle.
Yeah. And so normally that's the session that all the ag kids sleep.
Yeah.
So they were like, we can just sleep during that. It's fine. And I was like, I want to sleep. So these bitches are staying up, and I don't know where we got $1,000,001 pennies. I don't know what fountain we were robbing.
I don't know.
But for some reason, there was like $36 in pennies in our room. And so they were doing the little snappy thing to like wake me up. And I turned in to a freaking sniper. I shit you not. My glasses weren't even on, and I am snapping these at these bitches because I'm like, let's go to bed. And I am hitting them in the face. Like, I don't know how it happened, but it happened. And then I know we stayed up later than I wanted to, but I think I eventually convinced you guys to go to bed with me because I was so tired.
Yeah, I had to sneak into my actual room the next morning to get ready because I didn't take anything with me.
No.
I just literally, like, I went to my room that night, I got my cell phone charger, and that was it, and I told my roommates, I was like, bye bitches, and then I peaced out.
It was Fight Club. I also remember every single door that I went to, I knocked like the...
Yeah.
I literally did that at everybody's door, and if they didn't let me finish, I would shut the door and do it again. But my favorite part about that convention was the freaking Skype conversation. So I think you need to explain what happened.
So, I don't know if it was that convention. I think it might have been...
Your junior year?
My sophomore year.
Oh, okay.
Because...
I don't think you were a freshman for sure.
No, I don't know, I might have been. I was a hyped up hoe. So, I would like hype myself up to all these guys and then like clearly did not do anything about it, you know what I mean? Like I was not doing half the nasty things I said I was doing.
You know what she liked to do? She liked to hype them up on Omegle and then give them my Snapchat.
Yeah, when it was cool to like go on Omegle, like we would sit in
ASL.
Lacey's room and like we wouldn't do the video Omegle.
No, I've
we
never
there.
Yeah, I've never done the video.
But we'd just type back and forth and they'd be like ASL and then we'd like, you know, obviously not giving our real age, but just saying we were females with big tits basically. And then it'd be like, do you have a Kik? Because Kik Messenger was like
Big.
the hot thing.
Yeah.
And that was before Snapchat. Like that was the thing. And so I would be like, yeah. And Lacey would sit there and watch me say all these nasty things to these people in chat. And then when it came time to give the Kik, I always gave Lacey's.
Yeah, so then they'd come in hot and heavy, and I'm like,
The amount of unsolicited dick pics that Lacey got sent to her Kik Messenger because of me is astronomical, I'm sure.
I remember one time a guy literally sent like 10 in a row, and it was just all, like, he did
The
a photo
same,
shoot.
yep.
Like, he just, like...
all the way around.
Like, I got a 360 pano, like, all of it, and I was like, I'm good.
But I had been talking to this person. He was a good bit older than me.
Yeah.
Because I think I was like a sophomore in college and he was a sophomore in high school and he was like a sophomore in college.
Yeah.
Like, he's quite a bit older than me. But he and I had like this thing where we would like talk and back and forth and like he would flirt with me and I would flirt with him, whatever. Like it was weird, okay? It was never really a thing. It was just a thing that...
We were young.
Pretty sure he's got some weird kind of fetish thing for younger people, but I'm not making any accusations or pointing any fingers. But anyway, he showed a little bit of interest in me and Insecure Julie was like, okay.
Yeah.
But anyway, he and I would Skype. Like, we would text, and we would, like, Snapchat some, like, when Snapchat was a new thing. And then we would Skype. And, like, the Skype, we wouldn't play audio. Mm-hmm. It was just typing in, like, the chat for Skype, and then we could see each other. To which I'm like, why don't we just text?
Yeah.
And then I finally caught on to the pattern of why we had a video chat, because every time in the text chat, we'd be like, show me your boobs. Like...
Show me your boobies.
And to which I would be like, not gonna happen. Because I did not do that. That was one thing I really did not do. Because my mom be on that shit.
Yeah.
Like,
we had to use Kik?
Yeah, I only had Kik so that I could say cuss words in my text messages because I knew my mom was reading them.
I don't know how many times I would accidentally say something when I was texting Julie and not... Our friendship was based off of way too many conversations because you had your iPod that you could text with off of. You had your Kik that we could message and Snapchat and your phone number. So, like, it was a lot to be friends with you, but I loved it. And I remember, like, anytime I would accidentally, like, drop something about, like, something her mom shouldn't have known about when she was on text, I would always have to, like, do, like,
I found a text
circles.
not that long ago that was literally like, can I text you on here? Should I message you on Kik?
Yeah.
From Lacey. And I wish I would have screenshotted it, but I didn't. But, so, we were on Skype on convention. The girl I was rooming with, it was literally me, this girl, and then a chaperone.
Mm-hmm. I remember.
Okay? Me, this girl, and a chaperone. I'm on Skype the chaperone was out. She was out with the other chaperones in like the lobby or whatever. And I'm on Skype, my nightly Skype call with this person, and he's like, I'm like, I have to go to the bathroom. So I go to the bathroom, and I thought my laptop was safe. Actually, it wasn't even my laptop. It was this other person's laptop.
That's true.
I was like,
you didn't bring yours.
I was like, hey, roomie, can I use your laptop to Skype my
friend
man crush
who might be 20 years old?
Who might be 21 years old, might not be. Anyway, and she's like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so I log into Skype. I'm like, hey, I have to go to the bathroom. I leave the laptop open because it's not my laptop. So instant, like, he knew it wasn't my laptop.
And he also knew
He
you were
also
on
knew
convention.
I wasn't alone because he was an ad kid when he was in high school. So he knew what was going on.
Yeah, knew the whole sitch.
So I go to the bathroom, I come back out, and all I hear is a scream. And I'm like, what was that?
Yeah.
And the hotel room that we had, there was the bathroom, and then there was like a little like mirror sink thing, and then it was the bedroom. So like I was in the bathroom, I'm pulling my pants up, I hear a scream. I come out and I'm like, oh my god, are you okay? And she's like, his dick was out. And I was like, his what? His penis. There was a penis on my screen. And I'm like, what the hell? Like that had never like been a thing before. So I was like, what the fuck? And then I go and I look at the laptop and it's black, like the black screen. He had like completely like pieced out.
Logged off.
And he texts me, he's like, who was that? And I was like, my roommate in whose computer that I'm using to Skype you right
I remember you came to my room immediately and you were like, so-and-so just saw a penis for the first time on my...
She'd never seen a penis for the first time. So she was like shook, okay?
Shook it.
She was absolutely blown away.
Yeah, it was a lot for her.
And he was like so embarrassed. And I remember he was mad at me. And I'm like, you pulled your dick out. I said I was going to the bathroom and you pulled your dick out so I'd come back.
And now it's my fault?
And it's my fault that somebody else saw your 2-inch pincher? Like, I don't understand. And
oh my God.
That convention trip was also, for whatever reason, we thought the landlines were so fucking cool. Like, we would... everybody.
We were calling everybody.
Like, I went around, I remember one time I went around and I got everybody's room number and I wrote it down so that I knew who I could call, like what number I needed to put in. And I got a call from the same person we played Truth or Dare with.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to convince me that my pregnancy test was positive. And I'm like, strictly, like, I'm for sure a virgin at this point. Like, I don't gotta worry about a pregnancy test.
Yeah.
But that was, I mean, yeah, a girl who got to see her penis for the first time because...
A penis.
She was very like, she was like, I'm like, I am so incredibly sorry that you had to deal with that. I will pay for your therapies.
She probably had her parents buy her a whole new laptop after that.
I would.
Yeah.
It was nothing crazy.
Oh my goodness. I think the best way to finish out this podcast is to tell both of our first date stories. Because the first date I was ever on was a triple date, and it was god-awful. And then the first date you have is literally a story that...
It's not my first date, it's just the most... It's the weirdest first date I've ever been on.
Like, it's just a lot. And, like, honestly, you probably wouldn't believe it, but it's 100% factual. Like, I can back everything.
I wouldn't have believed it either if someone was telling it to me.
No. My first date was a lot more... So, basically... because I was also friends with upperclassmen, and one of my friends, she was a junior at the time, I think. I know I couldn't drive. I don't know if I was a freshman or a sophomore, though, because I know Christina could drive as a sophomore. But she was dating this guy, and one of his cousins, like, hardcore wanted to go on a date with my friend. Like, he was in love with her, and he was, like, trying to go on a date with her, blah, 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 and she was like, it's not that I don't want to go, she's like, but I kind of want you to go as well. And I was like, well... Christina's already going. I'm dropping her name. I'm sure she won't care. I'm like, Christina's already going. So, like, there's already there. She's like, yeah, but, like, if he has a friend, will you go? And I'm like, okay. So, he sends me a photo, and I shit you not, it looked like a mugshot. And it was like, and I was like, can you smile? Like, look happy?
Do you have paralysis?
Yeah. And so I was like, all right, we'll go. So we go to the local Mexican joint in our town.
Don't even downplay it like that. It's one of the best Mexican restaurants
but it's
ever.
it's like the only restaurant we have.
It's the only type of culture you're getting around here.
Yeah. And so we go there, and it was just aggressively awkward because we were all like 15. It was like most of us' first date, except for the two that were a couple, and then they were just making it god-awfully heinous for us. I remember Christina's boyfriend at the time was just like, so, you guys, this is your first date for everybody? Can we stop being so fucking awkward? Should we order margaritas? And we're like, we're 15.
You want a beer?
He's 4. And so then, what else do you do when you want the horrendous day to continue? We went to Walmart, peeps, and we played hide and seek in Walmart.
Which was a normal thing.
Yeah. Like,
it's a normal thing. Like, there's nothing to do in this little town.
There isn't. So, like, what you would do is...
Because Walmart was open 24/7 at that time, so you could go whenever.
So you could either go in and be absolute shit stains and, like, do dumb shit.
Or you could be nice people.
Or you could go in... Now, I will say that playing Walmart hide and seek, if you're being like, if you're just not being an asshole, is actually really fucking fun. Yeah. Especially if you're, like, texting hints. I will still do that to this day. But... we were literally, like, me and Kelsey paired up to, like, get away from these boys. And, like, had I had my own license, I would have left in a heartbeat. Because it was just painfully awkward.
We have lots of memories of Walmart.
Oh, my gosh. Because we used to freaking pull up. Like, the biggest thing to do was we're from a very yeehaw, backwoods
The Walmart
area.
is 20 minutes away from where we grew up. Like,
Yeah.
we're not...
in a town.
We're not in a town.
No. And so... what all the cool kids would do is bring up their yee trucks.
No,
and
you have to... Friday nights was for cars.
Yeah.
All the little racers would go up there.
I remember my first car race that I was ever a part of, and it was the wildest shit. Because I had one friend that would go up there on the Friday nights. I usually took my dad's Duramax up on the Saturday nights, like I was a cool bitch. But Friday, she was like, do you want to come up with me? And I was like, sure. So we go up there, and... like, we're all just standing around, and then this one guy pulls up and, like, makes eye contact with this guy, and then everyone gets in their vehicle, and I'm like, what's happening? She's like, they're gonna go race, and I was like...
Fast and Furious
oh
type
my,
shit.
Yeah, like, freaking Tokyo Drift in this bitch. And I was like, okay, so I hop in her freaking Cherokee, and we go to this one road, 15 minutes away, mind you, like, we're in a convoy to this one road, because it's a stretch that's very flat. And it's like, ironically, there's like landmarks that are like a quarter mile, I guess. So we're all parked, and then they just go, boom, and I don't even know who won. And then we all just went back to Walmart, and I was like, this is literally fucking it.
But that's literally what, like, the cars would meet on Fridays, all the little racers. It was like a whole section of the Walmart parking lot that they dedicated to car and truck meetups.
Yeah.
And then Saturday night
was for the boys.
Saturday night is where we fucking flourished, okay?
Yeah.
Because that's where we would go. We had a friend that had a little S10.
Oh my god.
The trucks wouldn't go somewhere and race. The trucks would go to the other end of the Walmart parking lot. They would rev up, and they would drive super fast towards everybody.
Yeah. It was honestly, like, such a wild time to think about the things we did for entertainment because of just how blatantly boring it is in this area. Like, it used to be when my brother was in high school, he brought me to one of... because before it was the Alley. So there's a little, like, restaurant that's actually really good now. It went through a questionable period, but it's pretty good now. And then there's a bowling alley on the other side. And so it used to be that parking lot, but then the cops ran everybody off, so then that's when it turned into
Walmart never said anything about it.
No.
Like, I remember I was never worried about the cops coming.
No, Walmart
but
was
they were literally
like
doing burnouts in the Walmart parking lot.
It was a wild time, but that's all we had.
Shit.
That's
all we did.
I remember when I went to when my brother took me. Should not have. My brother was 18. I was 12. Okay, it's not like we have like a 2-year difference. Right. No, my brother took me to where these 16 to 8-year-olds are hanging out. I remember my fit. I literally wore like boot cut Aeropostale jeans, a fucking Aero shirt, and then I had these dangly ass star earrings, and I thought I was hot shit. And I get there, and I remember in the first 5 minutes, I see this girl get out of her car and pill bottle spill, and I was like, oh. And my brother's girlfriend at the time just is like, those aren't prescription for her. And I was like, ah! And so then I went in the alley and had a soda.
Like a cool kid.
But it was just, it's so crazy to think back to those times. Because, like, convention, honestly, was some of the funnest times I had. And, like, just stupid Saturday. Like, I was never I've always been an aggressive rule follower. I've never had issues. I've never really even been grounded. My mom tried to ground me one time, and it lasted for 10 minutes because I just felt so guilty. And so I was the same way. Like, the most vandalism we did was we went to the dollar store.
God, we would do this
we
all
bought
the time.
silly string, and we would spray silly string at signs because it wasn't permanent, but it still felt rebellious.
And sometimes we would throw the cans out the window.
And not worry about the environment. Sorry for that now. That is loitering and
We would never do that
now.
now.
No, I won't even let people throw a freaking receipt out the window.
But...
yeah, I think now we need to really just fully dive into that date experience you had because it involves a donkey. I'm just gonna.
It also involves the gentleman that wanted us to make out during Truth or Dare.
We're gonna give him the name of John, just so we can use something, because the people that I know, I can say names. I know that it's good, but there's
But
some.
I don't think you want me sharing this story.
And even he's like married with some kids now. I hope he's happy. It was just wild. I mean, everyone's allowed to be a little bit weird at 16. I feel like we're all gonna give ourselves that leisure.
But this, like,
I'm gonna let you take the floor, okay?
I thought this was gonna be my fucking love story, okay?
You did.
Because I had a crush on this person. This is the same person, John,
that
we played Truth or Dare with, who also tried to call me and tell me I had a positive pregnancy test.
Yes.
I was in love with this person from the 6th or 7th grade. Like, we would have gym with the upperclassmen, only a grade above me. Like, he was in Lacey's grade. We would have gym with him, and I would, like, write notes and be like, do you like me? Do you think I'm cute? And he wanted nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Like, absolutely nothing to do with it. We hit high school, and he was, like, barking up my tree hard.
Yeah.
But at that point, I was like, no, not really. Don't really want it. Because I had a boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
And then I broke up with that boyfriend, the same boyfriend we talked about last week.
Yeah. Still, fuck you.
Still, fuck you. But I wanted nothing to do with John because he didn't want anything to do with me in middle school. So I was like, fuck you now. So anyway, he finally convinces me to go on this date. Okay, my mom knows everything about every child that comes through our school district because she's a teacher.
Yeah.
She can look at everything, okay? And chances are, she's been teaching so long, she's probably had your parents in school.
Yeah.
So she knows everything about everybody, and she's like, do you really want to go on this date? Like, do you think that's a good idea? And my mom was never the one to be like, I don't think this person is good for you, so you're not going. She was always like, you'll figure it out, or you won't. So, anyway, he and I would, every morning, I would go to my first period class, it was chemistry, and he was in government, with the same poor girl that got to see a penis for the first time. And I would walk to the government class, and that was the cool thing to do before school started, is walk the halls. You find a buddy, you walk the halls. Absolutely walk them until you cannot walk them anymore.
We had one square in our school, and you would just do laps.
You just walked it. So I would set my stuff down in chemistry, I'd go to government, I'd pick up said person, and we'd walk the halls. He was in her government class. Mm-hmm. He sat in the corner, and one day, he was like, can I join you? And I was like, sure. So we're walking the halls, as you do, and I go to my class, I think nothing of it. I get home that night, and he texts me, and he's like, do you want to go on a date? And I was like, I have to ask my mom. Because you didn't just go out, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. At that point in your life, you gotta be like, hey mom, this guy wants to take me on a date, can I go?
Yeah. And
she was like, she gave me the whole spiel, like, okay, if you're sure, like, go, whatever, do whatever. So we decided... there's a little ice cream place / putt-putt place, not that far from us. It's honestly the closest thing to my house when I was growing up was this putt-putt place.
And it's the best, like, honestly, putt-putt and ice cream isn't a bad date.
No, it's not a bad first date, especially not when you're 16. You know what I mean? You're still in high school.
Yeah, it's a solid first date choice.
So I have my driver's license. I drive there. Mind you, he's a year older than me. We decide we're going to meet there, whatever. And he texts me, like, I'm getting ready to leave. Because I'm a person who's got to be... Early.
Yes.
So I'm getting ready to leave to put myself there about a half hour, or like 20 minutes before the date is actually supposed to start. So I can compose myself. You know, you're always nervous. Like, I know this person. I've known this person for a long time, but I'm still very nervous because this is the first time we're in, like, this setting.
Yes.
Like, this is a
date.
Romanticized date, okay?
Yeah.
And I go to leave, and he texts me, and he's like, hey, can we push the date back? And I'm thinking, like, dude, if you don't want to go on the date with me, like, straight up, just tell me.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I'm not doing this with you. Like, straight up, just tell me you don't want to go on the date. And he's like, no, like, I just need to push back. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. I'll meet you, whatever. He's like, thanks. My donkey got out, and I have to go chase him. His donkey got out. That's why we pushed our date back. His donkey got out. It was not because he was avoiding me. His donkey got out. He had to go chase his donkey.
That's how BFE we are. Which I will say, not to get too off subject, but like I straight up, you don't know how many times I used the excuse of my cows are out to get out of tests in college. If I wasn't ready for a test, I would straight up just be like, hey, my dad just called me. He's in Cincinnati, but our cows are out. And I went to an agricultural school. It flew over amazingly. It was literally better than, like, my uncle died. Like, literally being like, my cows are on the road. They were like, oh, Godspeed, go get them.
Go get them.
You can take the test tomorrow.
So anyway, after John wrangles his donkey, by the way, I tell my mom this, and she's like,
Hot excuse.
Okay.
Haven't heard that one before.
She's like, well, if it gets kind of sketchy, just call me. So
he brings the donkey, let me know.
I go to the putt-putt place. I park. I get out. He's already there. He brought his sister and his nephew.
Yep.
Now, had this been his younger sister, I don't think it would have been as strange for me.
Yeah, because already the donkey's opened up a
The
Pandora's
donkey's
box.
already been like, all right, it doesn't get any weirder than this.
Yeah.
So he brings his older sister, older by a good bit, okay? This is her son that is with them. And I'm like, I don't know her. I only know one of his older sisters, and this ain't her. And so he didn't tell me beforehand either. He wasn't like, hey, I'm bringing a buddy.
Hey, I'm bringing my whole
Definitely
family.
not bringing two.
I told my family about our date. They love putt-putt. They're coming.
So we go putt-putting, okay? And I'm pretty sure his sister just used it as like a free babysitting service because she straight up just
dipped,
pawned the kid on us and went and sat at the picnic table. So we do a round of putt-putt with his 4-year-old nephew, which was fine. Nephew, cool as shit. Okay, had a good time with him.
You're out there now. You're probably 10. What's poppin'?
Yeah, what's up?
Don't listen to this at 10.
He's definitely older than that.
That's upsetting, but keep going.
Definitely older than that. He's probably at least 12, 13.
Okay.
Anyway, so we get to the point where we're finishing our date, okay? And if you know, you know, when you go putt-putt, you putt-putt first, ice cream last.
Yes.
Okay? You never want to putt-putt on a full stomach.
Of ice cream with IBS.
Well, that too. But you never want to putt-putt on a full stomach, period. It'll fuck your swing up.
Yeah.
So, we putt-putt. We sit down to eat our ice cream. We're sitting at a picnic table. We finally have like 5 minutes of just our conversation. Like,
yes.
His nephew's on the swing. His sister is pushing him on the swing. We go to the picnic table. We're having a good old time. We're sitting there talking. Like, oh, I had fun today. Like, yeah, thanks for coming. Like, whatever. Like, planning our next date. This, that, and the other. And his nephew comes up to me. And he goes, are you guys going to get married and have babies? And I don't know what to do. I'm 16, okay? 16. I haven't thought past what I'm wearing to school tomorrow.
Yeah, let alone.
And I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to let him handle this one. Because, like, I don't know how to crush this 4-year-old's dreams that just because you go on a date with somebody doesn't mean you're getting married and having kids.
Yeah.
And he goes, maybe someday. And I was like, excuse me? And he's like, he just kept going. And he's like, yeah, we might have kids someday. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. And so at that point, I'm incredibly uncomfortable. I do the whole text your mom, send her, like, make her, you know.
Give me an excuse to
give me
get
an
out
excuse to
here.
come home, please. And so she calls me. I'm like, I gotta go home. He's like, all right, well, thanks for coming, whatever. And I bolt. Like, I am running to my car. And I hear somebody behind me. And he comes up behind me. He's like, can I at least have a hug? And I was like...
The awful question.
And I was like, yeah, but you're not getting a kiss. So I hug him. I get back in my car. And I go home, and my mom's like, how did the date go? And I was like, never again, Mom. I'm never going on another date again. I tell her what happened. She agrees that it's incredibly weird.
Did
and
he have
that's
names for your kids?
I don't know. I think he had thrown out his favorite kid names. I don't know that we named our children specifically. But I needed to talk to my mom about it and just be reassured that not every first date was going to be like this. Because my first date with my first boyfriend was literally just like, we were texting and then we went to a softball game together and we didn't talk for a week.
Yeah.
But she's like, that's incredibly weird. I'm so sorry. Mind you, my mother now has to have him in class the next day.
Yeah.
Okay, because we went on a Sunday, so we're talking Monday here.
And I had like 3 classes with him, and you told me the whole tea, and I'm like...
so I go to school the next day, and this is when it goes back to walking the square in the morning. So I go pick up this person. I pick her up at her history or her government class. We're walking the square, and he tries to join. And I was like, I have to go back. I forgot I have a chemistry test today I have to study for. So I go back, and he had texted me as soon as he got home. He was like, I had a really good time. Thanks for coming. And I did not reply. Straight up, did not reply.
Oh, you were ghosted.
I didn't know what to do. I was fucking scared. Like, he planned our whole life, and I was like,
I'm 16.
I have a chemistry test tomorrow. So I just stopped talking. And I know it's really shitty, but I was 16. But I just stopped replying to his text messages, and then I stopped walking the square completely in the morning with said person. And I only talked to him when I had to because of ag stuff.
Yeah.
He still tried to talk to me, and he was still very aggressively flirty with me.
And we just,
And I was just like, And then I kind of, like, by the time, I think it was your guys' senior year, by that point, I was like, all right, this is the person that flirts with me, makes me feel good about myself, so keep on trucking, dude. I'm going to keep having other boyfriends, but you keep flirting with me because it makes me feel good about myself.
And then you found your husband.
And then I met my husband my junior year of high school, so.
Ta-da!
And here I am.
Here she is now, married.
Betrothed. To a white man.
White man!
No! And we have, that was quite honestly the weirdest first date experience I've ever had.
Yeah, I can definitely understand why.
Quite honestly the weirdest. And it wasn't even the donkey that made it super weird.
That's the normal part,
That's
honestly.
the most normal part of the whole thing, because, like, your animals get out, I get it.
Yeah.
You know how many times I had to chase goats down the road because they got out?
Yeah, we were ag kids. Like, you were like, his donkey's out. I'm like, oh, okay, well, let him.
Hope he gets back in. Yeah. Have fun chasing ass. Little did he know he'd be chasing my ass for the next 3 years.
Little did he know that was the only ass he was getting that night.
Yeah, for real. You can't name somebody. You can't do that.
No, absolutely not.
If you're thinking of first date ideas, that's not it.
The putt-putt ice cream combo?
The putt-putt ice cream combo is beautiful.
Solid combo. But, like, if you're gonna bring somebody, maybe run it by the date. Maybe be like, hey, listen.
Well, anyway, if it would have been like, hey, I have to bring my nephew with me, is that okay? But, yeah.
Okay.
Down.
But your sister, who's older.
But your 26-year-old sister?
And, yeah. And then also don't let the kids say weird things.
Yeah, like, hey, kid, pretend you're mute.
You can talk, but don't ask me if I'm going to marry and have children.
Ask me my favorite color or something normal like that, okay?
Yeah. Kids are honest, man.
Kids are brutally honest.
Yeah, they are.
Scarily honest.
Yeah. And they will not be afraid to tell you.
Nope.
But, yeah. We definitely were aggressively awkward, uncomfortably awkward in high school, but we had fun. Honestly, I think that was, like, even though we were, like, really, like, embarrassing, we had a lot of fun because we were just ourselves. And
we didn't care.
No.
We weren't trying to impress anybody by any means, which is probably why our high school experience was the way that it was.
Yeah, like, we just didn't give a shit. We just wanted to have fun. We did what we wanted to do, and, you know.
I was also, like, Lacey was enough friends with the more popular kids to be safe in high school. I was 6 foot tall.
Yeah, that was how we stayed safe.
I was not friends with any popular people. I didn't care to be friends with any popular people. I was a teacher's kid. It already put me in a different... You had popular kids, you had not popular kids, and you had teacher's kids, okay?
Yeah.
And I just didn't care enough. And I was also 6 foot tall, and half the boys that I graduated with were only 5'5". So no one was fucking with me, okay?
Yeah. And then, like I said, I had the safety net of some of my friends were on the more popular end if, like, you consider cliques in high school that don't matter anymore. Right. So that was what kept me kind of safe, I guess. But I just didn't give a shit.
No.
I really didn't. Especially once I became, like, an upperclassman. Like, freshman year, I probably tried to hide it a little bit more.
Oh, freshman year, I hardcore tried to be, like...
Yeah, like, I think everyone your freshman year... Well, it's a completely different ball game.
Freshman year, gonna be here for the next 4 years in this town.
Open one of those.
That was part of why I tried so hard to be normal my freshman year, because I went into high school for a total of 4 days with the senior boyfriend.
You were like, bitch.
And then all his senior friends were like, we're dumping our freshman girlfriends. And he's like, yeah, me too. Fuck her. Anyway.
But yeah. So that was our high school experience. We can definitely go into more detail if you guys like this kind of podcast.
Yeah, we have plenty of high school stories.
Oh, we do. And we have plenty of stories in general, honestly.
Right.
Our ass tat is literally an inside joke. So we can
will
go
talk
into
about
that
next week.
Yeah.
It'll be good next week.
Oh, for sure. But that's all we're going to do for today because it's Thanksgiving. Well, this is going to come out after Thanksgiving, so hope you had
a beautiful Thanksgiving.
If you celebrate Thanksgiving. If you're the 1% in Barbados, I don't know if you celebrate that or not, but thanks for listening all the way in Barbados.
If you have to painfully sit through dinner with your family on Thursday,
sorry.
I am sorry. If you're going Black Friday shopping, also sorry.
Yeah. You can watch our content on YouTube.
Yep.
Or you can listen if you want some.
You can listen on Spotify and Apple, and if you don't have either one of those, because I know our Android friends obviously don't have Apple Podcasts, you can download the Anchor app, and it's free to listen on there.
Yeah. 100% free. All you have to do is, like, set up an account, and it's super easy. It's no different than any other app, but it's completely free, and you can listen to it there, or you can go to our YouTube channel as well if you want to watch it. Yep. I also have a YouTube channel and TikTok. Those will all be linked. So does Julie, so if you want to follow any of us individually. on our socials. They will all be linked below. But yeah, we hope you had a great holiday weekend. Ate all the turkey and mashed potatoes and all the good
Or
stuff.
ham. If you're a person that eats ham, I don't understand you, but I respect you.
I eat ham.
Well, I don't understand you, but I respect you. Turkey
Anyway.
all the way.
Anyway,
Happy Thanksgiving.
peace out. And
Peace and blessings.
Yeah, let's wrap this shit up, okay? Bye.
Bye.
Just like that. Lola's gone.
Psych. Lola's right here, you fucking Brussels sprout. Okay, cool.
Sick.